So you're thinking about moving to Bellingham, Washington, or more specifically, the Maple Falls, Kendall area? Well, in this video, I'm going to take you inside the computer using Google Maps, show you all around the Maple Falls, Kendall area to see if it might be a good fit for you. You're not going to want to miss it, so let's get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, playing, working, as well as the good and bad about living in Bellingham, Washington, and more specifically the Maple Falls, Kendall area, then subscribe below and tap the bell icon for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Bellingham, Maple Falls, and Kendall area. My name's Dale Serbisek, and I'm with the Living in Bellingham, Washington team, and every day we get calls, texts, and email from people just like you, and we love it. So whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'll be happy to help you make that smooth move to the Bellingham, Washington, or Maple Falls, Kendall area. So here we are in the Kendall Maple Falls Google Map tour, and I'm also going to include Peaceful Valley as well, because if you see up here, the Peaceful Valley, Kendall, Maple Falls area, which is gray, which I'm circling here, is one general geographical area. There's a lot of homes in all three areas. They do have different mailing addresses and such, and they are called different things. For instance, if you live in Kendall, you say you live in Kendall. If you live in Peaceful Valley and Maple Falls is its own little area as well. Some people will, in general, call this entire area Maple Falls. Like if you are in Bellingham and you say, hey, I live up in Maple Falls, it gives them a general idea. Maple Falls is probably what you would use. But in relation to Bellingham, you can see Peaceful Valley, Maple Falls, Kendall area is northeast of Bellingham, about 45 minute drive. And of course, we are up close to the Canadian border as well. As you can see right here is the Canadian border. If you're going to be crossing over, it's probably going to be in Sumas here. And the main way, of course, getting back and forth is through Highway 542, which 542 does eventually go up through Glacier and dead ends up at Heather Meadows and Artist Point up near the Mount Baker Ski Resort. And zooming in a bit closer on that particular area, you can see, again, Peaceful Valley right here. Kendall is labeled as right here, and Maple Falls is right here. So it's along the Nooksack River. You can see Silver Lake is a recreational area and campground right here. Again, Canadian border along here. Most of the homes, of course, are going to be in this general area for Peaceful Valley. Kendall, there's a few homes in this particular area. There is a nice little recreational area of properties, little cabins right here. And then there's also a housing development right here when you start heading out of Maple Falls, further closer to the Glacier area. And if you want to see the actual boundary lines for Kendall, you can see the dotted lines here, or the dotted red dot line here. It shows you the general boundaries for Kendall, and for Maple Falls you can see here along the Nooksack River. And the last one, Peaceful Valley, is the largest geographic, probably has the most houses in it as well, because that's Paradise Lakes Country Club, as well as a lot of homes in this area right here. And regarding distances, so I use Maple Falls as the general location, but to get from Maple Falls back to Bellingham, you're going to come on Highway 542, and it is going to take you approximately 42 minutes. 542 is also called Mount Baker Highway, and it's what you would take to go to the Mount Baker ski area, which you see right here. Also, one thing to mention, Maple Falls, a lot of people that live there work in Bellingham, and they're going to be taking 542 to and from work. So this highway can get pretty busy in the morning hours and the afternoon hours. It's a 2-lane highway, so you definitely want to drive safe on that. The speeds are about 55, 60 miles an hour, so you definitely want to take your time and be alert. And distances from Maple Falls down to Seattle, of course you're going to take Highway 9 down here, cut across to I-5 and continue on to the Seattle area, and you're looking at about 2 hours. And going up to the Vancouver, British Columbia area, of course you're going to take the Sumas border crossing right here. There are two other ones, of course there's Linden right here, and then there's Peace Arch and the truck crossing right here, but more than likely you're going to take Sumas. It's going to be the least crowded. There is a Nexus lane there as well, which I would encourage you to get a Nexus card. They are only $50 and that lasts for 5 years. It allows you to go in the Nexus designated lanes, which can save you a lot of time getting into Canada and coming back. And it also, a nice little bonus is it allows you to get TSA pre-check on domestic flights, so you can take the fast security lines and get through to your gate a lot quicker. Once you do cross over into Canada, Abbotsford, BC is a pretty big town. So they're going to have like Costco's, Walmart's, big movie theaters and such. So You might do some stuff up there, especially if the US dollar is strong to the Canadian dollar, which it is right now. You are then going to take Canada 1 on into the Vancouver area, and it's going to take you approximately an hour and 45 minutes. And looking at populations, we're going to see all three, Maple Falls, Kendall, and Peaceful Valley, because it's hard to clump them all together in one website. You got 226 people based on the 2020 census in Maple Falls, and in the Kendall area of 884 people. And Peaceful Valley, the largest area, 3,187. So you're looking at about 4,500 people that live in this general area. And it is pretty much a mountainous area, so they're not going to have a whole lot of amenities. So most of the people that live out there are enjoying the peacefulness, not having nosy neighbors, and feeling like you don't have a bunch of HOAs controlling everything you're doing. So that's the general consensus out there. And moving on to the schools, if you have children and you live out in the peaceful Maple Falls, Kendall area, they're going to go to Kendall Elementary, which is right smack dab in the middle there. And then for middle school and high school, they're going to come down 542 by bus to the Mount Baker Middle School and High School, which are both on the same property. And moving along to some of the fun things to do in the area. We've got a list of things here. We got Racehorse Falls, which has got some beautiful, beautiful scenery. We'll look at some pictures here showing you what these waterfalls look like. There's a nice little trail. It's not too difficult. Best times of the year, of course, are spring, summer, and fall. Most of the hiking you're going to find is going to be really good that time of year. If you do like to snowshoe in the winter months, there's a lot of great snowshoeing as well as cross-country skiing. But you can see here, there's some nice pictures of this creek, and I'd encourage you to check this out if you're into hiking. Of course, there's a lot of hiking. Most of the places that we're going to be looking at here are going to be some sort of hiking one way or another. We got the Paradise Valley Road gravel pit. You can see there's some spectacular views on this hike. View of Mount Baker, of course, the gravel pit, what it's called. Here's some more beautiful views from that trail. I love the panorama pictures. Then there's the Nooksack River Bald Eagle viewing area, which is a great place to go and watch bald eagles along the Nooksack River. You can almost guarantee you're going to see bald eagles at some point if you spend an hour or two there, and it's really easy access. You know you're at the right place when you get to the Welcome Bridge right here. So let's take a look at some pictures. And of course, beautiful close-up of a bald eagle. Here you can see what the Nooksack River looks like. This has got to be late in the summer because the river is very low. You can tell by the trees too. It looks like the leaves are coming off. But in the early summer, this is raging. The Nooksack River is going to come all the way up to the tree line when the glacier melt is coming off of Mount Baker. It's quite a raging river. Of course, it's an active salmon run in the spring and fall, so a lot of people like to do salmon fishing as well. Here's some more bald eagles in flight. Wow, that is an amazing picture right there. And this gives you an idea. This picture's taken from the Welcome Bridge. You can see a fisherman down here. Again, there's little trails that you can take that get you down onto these gravel bars and sand bars from both sides. So these are great viewing points as well. And we have a nice restaurant, the North Fork Brewery, which is on 542. Definitely, they have great pizza, some of the best pizza around. They got good salads and pasta as well. The inside is decorated quite amazing. They have a lot of old beer cans and bottles from all throughout different eras and different parts of the world. They have all the old skiing paraphernalia. It's a great stop for people coming down off of Mount Baker from skiing, and it's a great place to stop even in the summer. They brew their own beer. They have some great beers. It's always packed. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. And I'll show you some of the inside pictures, but it's definitely a place to stop if you're into pizza. Here's what I was saying about the inside. There's a lot of cool old bottles of beer. And here we got a flight of some of their different brews that they make. Here's a good picture showing all the different stuff they have on tap. They even have some seafood. Here's another good picture showing some of the micro brews that they have on tap. Good variety. Here's another good picture showing the interior. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Check it out. And moving along to the Silver Lake area, which is a great recreational area. They have campgrounds for RVs, both dry and wet hookups, as well as tent camping. They even have some cabins that you can rent. It's a pretty big area. The lake is quite large itself. It has a boat launch. One thing that is unique about Silver Lake is it does not allow gasoline engines on the lake, so it's nice and quiet and peaceful. There's a lot of boats, non-gasoline powered boats that you can rent. There's paddle boats, there's kayaks, stand-up paddle boards, those little pedal boats, sailboats. There's a park area right here, which is a great place for picnics that you can go right up to the water. The lake is stocked with trout, so if you're into fishing, there's a lot of great opportunities for fishing as well. It's harder to access the lake from around here because most of this is privately owned, but I would say that this area around the green, you're going to be able to do pretty much everything you want to do on Silver Lake. Another great restaurant on 542 is Refugio's Country Italian Cuisine. I would say this is probably one of the least known, best kept secrets in all of Whatcom County for a really nice restaurant. It's very small. The people that go there absolutely love it. Let's check out some pictures. So you can see it's very upscale inside, but it definitely has more of a rustic country feel to it. Definitely the chef here is top notch. He makes some of the most amazing dishes that I've ever had. So I would definitely stop by. It's a great place to go on a date night if you want to surprise that special someone. Here's another good shot of the interior. A great steak right there. And of course they've got pasta, being an Italian restaurant. And here is the chef himself. They have some great outdoor seating areas as well if the weather's nice. That looks like a pretty good breakfast skillet there and some great meat pasta spaghetti. And you can just tell by some of these pictures that this is definitely a 5-star restaurant. And here's the Skyline Divide Trailhead, which is another great hiking spot up in the area. It has some beautiful, beautiful views of Mount Baker. In the summer, you get a lot of wildflowers, and of course, you're along the Nooksack River, so you're going to get some great views of the river. Just a wonderful hiking area. Definitely be sure in the wintertime, if you're going up there, you have chains or that you have 4-wheel drive, because those roads can get pretty deep with snow. So I would encourage you to make sure you have a good 4-wheel drive vehicle. Wow, some more beautiful views there. And you can tell by some of these pictures, you're starting to get up in some altitude almost above the tree line. So Mount Baker is just a beautiful area. The summer months is when is going to be the best time to do your hiking. I would say July, August, September is going to be when most of the snow is finally melted, but it sure starts to come back pretty quick. As a matter of fact, this area is on record in 1999 as getting the most annual snowfall of anywhere ever in the world. It was almost 1,000 inches of snow. And moving along to the Horseshoe Bend Trailhead, which again is another spectacular place to hike. If you're getting the general theme here, there is quite a bit of hiking in the beginnings of these cascades here in the Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest. It's just endless amount of trails and hiking you can do and see so much scenery. Again, you can camp, mountain bike, snowshoe, cross-country ski, backcountry ski. But I would definitely say if you're not familiar with the area, you would want to either have someone that is familiar with the area or be sure you're experienced in packing equipment. In the winter months, there can even be avalanches. So you definitely have to be prepared, and because you're not going to have a lot of law enforcement or rescue people close, because you're starting to get way up into this mountain country, backcountry area. Ooh, that guy looks like he's taking a cold swim, even though it looks like it's the middle of summer. And one last trail I want to share with you is called the Maple Creek Park Trail, or the Maple to Glacier Trail. Another great popular one. There's a lot of good waterfalls, as you can see here, they're along the way. It's a pretty easy hike again, but definitely great scenic views. And moving along to real estate. So houses that are currently for sale in the Maple Falls, Kendall, Peaceful Valley area. There's currently about 22 properties ranging in price from about $42,000, which, keep in mind, there are a lot of single wides and recreational type cabins. Some of them only allow, if they're in the parks, in Maple Glen, for instance, only allow them to be used for 6 months out of the year. So it doesn't have to be consecutive, but they do keep track. So they're designed to be recreational properties. A lot of those being owned by Canadians or people from Seattle, who oftentimes want to come up and have somewhere close and inexpensive to live if you go skiing up in Mount Baker. And of course, you can see one of the most expensive right now. We got $2 million for this particular property. But most of the homes are going to fall in the general $200,000 to $400,000 price range. You're going to get some great values up here compared to Bellingham. I would say like a home in Bellingham that's going to be a median, let's say, of $600,000. You would get that same home for about $400,000, $450,000 in the Maple Falls area. So some great values up there. But again, you are pretty remote. You're out there. So you have to be into that kind of living. And the homes that have sold in the last 6 months in the same area, we've had about 77 homes. As you can see, a lot of those in the Peaceful Valley area because that's the most dense neighborhood area. And the price ranges on those, again, those less expensive recreational type properties here. And the most expensive ones selling, we've had, let's see, one for $659,000, $585,000. So you can see it kind of maxes out the top sales prices are going to be homes that in Bellingham would be $700,000-$800,000. And moving along to the 3-year chart on the median sale price averages. 3 years ago, you were looking at median sale prices of $138,000, $156,000. And of course, as interest rates went down, the prices went up. They're starting to level off, of course. Right now, our median sale prices in that area, $325,000. This number is definitely brought down considerably by a lot of those inexpensive recreational properties, for instance, in Maple Glen, where you can pick up some single wide trailers in there for $12,000, $13,000, which is amazing if you think about it. They are on septic, but they're in tight little, they almost feel like you're in a campground. They've got a nice swimming pool and facilities and such, so but definitely still a great value out there. And moving along to the months of inventory, otherwise known as absorption rate. Back in 2019, we were looking at about 3.3 months of inventory, which was definitely a seller's market. And then it went more to a balanced market in 2019 at 4.3. A balanced market is generally about 4, 5, 6 months of inventory. And then of course in 2020, when interest rates started to plummet, then of course the months of inventory started to drop, which meant there were not so many listings and there were a whole lot more buyers. We were seeing multiple offers, bidding wars, going over list price to basically down to 1.6, which is just an unbelievable seller's market. But of course, as interest rates have started to climb, we're seeing the absorption rate, the months of inventory, start to go up. So we're getting closer to a balanced market, but it's still definitely considered a seller's market. So definitely want to check out Maple Falls, Kendall, or Peaceful Valley if you're looking to get some great deals on properties. I want to thank you for sticking around to the end of this Maple Falls, Kendall, and Peaceful Valley Google Map tour. Hope you've enjoyed learning about the area. It's definitely a nice little area tucked up in the northeast part of Whatcom County. It's a little bit out there, but if you're looking for some elbow room, looking for some great value on real estate, it's definitely a place worth checking out. So if you are thinking of moving to the area, be sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I'd be happy to help you make the smooth move to the area. And in the meantime, I hope to see you around town.